guys, it's time for another episode of Fever Watch, and on today's episode I'm going to show you all how to brew the perfect cup of tea because, well, there's nothing more comforting in the world than curling up with a nice warm cup of tea. So, here's what you're going to do. Find a precious teapot. Get yourself some loose leaf tea. Throw some tea leaves into your precious teapot and pour in some boiling water. Place the lid on your teapot and allow your tea to steep for about 5 minutes. And as your tea is steeping, allow for a brief moment of reflection. Actually, don't do that. I'm going to be quite honest with you all. Pretty much the only thing I can think about right now is the threat that Ebola is currently posing to the US population. And, well, the fact of the matter is, the government and health officials are trying very hard to prevent panic from breaking out in response to the current Ebola situation. However, if people really understood the threat that Ebola poses to us, there would be panic. Granted, panic is bad. However, a certain level of panic is healthy because it means you're informed and it means you know what's going on and it means that you know that you need to do your part to prevent this from turning into an outbreak. It's absolutely blowing my mind the way that the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, is currently handling the situation. I've been interested in the Ebola virus for quite a while. That's a very weird thing to say, but I am a nerd. There's no debating that. I started researching the subject in high school, and so I have somewhat of a background of knowledge about the Ebola virus. And it's very interesting to me, first of all, that in all the current CDC publications, the manifestation of symptoms of the Ebola virus is referred to as Ebola virus disease, EVD. This is extremely puzzling to me because up until apparently very recently, the manifestation of symptoms caused by the Ebola virus was referred to as Ebola hemorrhagic fever, EHF. Tell me something. What sounds more terrifying, Ebola virus disease or Ebola hemorrhagic fever? Which is exactly what it is. Ebola virus attacks your body, it liquefies your organs. In that process, it uses up all of your body's natural clotting agents. This results in your blood freely flowing out of every orifice, leading to you bleeding out and dying. That's what it does. It is a hemorrhagic fever. And to call it Ebola virus disease completely underplays the severity of the virus. Another thing I can't quite figure out that the CDC is doing is they've released new guidelines about how to handle specimens from Ebola patients and how to handle Ebola patients themselves. Up until, like I said, recently, anytime anyone in the United States was working with an Ebola virus specimen, they were required to do so in a biosafety level 4 lab. That's one of those labs you see on television where people are in full-out hazmat suits with a tube hooked into the ceiling because they've got a segregated air supply and they absolutely have no contact with anything that they're working with. And then in order to get out of that, they go through a series of decontamination showers and then blah blah blah. No direct contact with anything at all. Recently, however, the CDC has apparently downgraded this. Now they're saying it's okay for anyone to handle EVD specimens. It's safe as long as you wear appropriate personal protective equipment, which they define as an impermeable lab gown, some latex gloves, and some sort of face shield to prevent splashes and splatters. Yeah, that's well and good, but I don't think it's sufficient. Every day we're exposed to things that could potentially make us very sick. However, we have this great thing called an immune system that protects us. And usually, if you're exposed to things in a low enough dose, your body is able to contain it and get it out before it causes any problem for you. Ebola is not like that. First of all, your body has no natural immunity to it. And second of all, it is so virulent, so infectious that even the smallest exposure to the smallest quantity of infected material causes you to contract the virus. And then you may very well be dead in a month after experiencing one of the most excruciating illnesses you can even imagine. Have you noticed that they're not showing us any footage of actual Ebola patients over in Africa? Do you know why that is? I think it's because if we saw it, we would never be able to sleep again, because it is that terrifying. There are no second chances with Ebola. There's no treatment, there's no cure. Other infectious agents, like rabbit fever, you take a week's worth of antibiotics and you're fine. Ebola, you're exposed. You have a 50 to 90% chance of dying. Listen, you guys, I know I'm probably beginning to sound like some of a broken record. But this Ebola thing really is a big deal. Has it been 5 minutes yet? P.S. If you've never put creamer or half and half or anything in your tea, you should try it. It's a very British thing to do, but it's really quite delicious. Honestly, you guys, I don't want you to panic. Honestly, panicking will get you nowhere. But you need to be aware of the situation. You need to be aware that this could become a really bad thing. And I hope and I pray that it doesn't. This is a terrifying time. And really all we can do is prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Keep on the sunny side, always on the sunny side. Keep on the sunny side of life. It will help us every day, it will brighten all the way if we keep on the sunny side of life. Thank you for watching another really depressing episode of Fever Watch. I promise you I don't always talk about Ebola, although I talk about it quite a lot. Next week, I'm going to try really hard to have something more uplifting to share with you all. So, until never time, have a good one, and hopefully I'll see you all next week. Please be sure to check out last week's episode when I showed you how to make a somewhat legitimate hazmat suit out of things you can easily find at the store. And check out my episode from a few weeks ago in which I basically outline all of the terrible things that Ebola virus does to your body. Protect yourselves! And don't touch your friends!